Hello, friends. Welcome back to Trending. Today is Thursday, February 1st. New month.
There it is. Groundhog Day tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes.
It's been like so nice the past couple days.
I know.
Been taking the kids outside, and it's like, wow, sunshine. I kind of forgot what this was like.
I think we broke this story wide open a couple years ago on Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
But there's several groundhogs.
Yes. I didn't know that until we talked about it.
Yes. See, we're just enlightening the audience. We're enlightening ourselves.
Yes.
Nothing but good stuff here.
Yes. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll be on pins and needles, waiting for Punxsutawney Phil and all of his friends.
Yeah, and Jersey Jeff.
Right, I don't know. There's a bunch of them. Yeah. Okay, I'm excited to see how this goes because I think a good topic. I'm curious if you've heard about this, and I don't know where this conversation is going to go, but I think it'll be fun.
We're just going to light the fuse.
Yeah, we'll just see what happens.
Okay.
So, Monday, there is a tweet or an X. I'm still confused what we call these things. Mm-hmm. A tweet from our friend Elmo.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it'd be fun to talk about this.
Let's do it.
So this was not on my radar at all. I don't know. I would not have expected a tweet from Elmo to go viral in 2024.
Not on our Nostradamus episode. This one didn't land at all.
No, I did not see this coming. But I'm going to read the tweet and then we can talk about it a little bit. Okay, so here's what Elmo tweeted on Monday at 9:46 a.m.
Okay.
He said, "Elmo is just checking in. How is everybody doing?" Great. Thanks, Elmo. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah.
That tweet got 196 million views, 16,000 comments, 54,000 retweets, 138,000 likes. It just blew up. USA Today, the Today Show, all the networks started covering it because people chimed in, and most people were saying something like, "Honestly, Elmo, I'm not doing very good."
Yeah.
And there was just tweet after tweet of, "I just lost my job. The economy is horrible." Like some celebrities, "Hey, I'm at my lowest. Thanks for asking." It quickly got, when it started becoming viral, a lot of brands chimed in, and there's some kind of funny things. There's a picture of Domino's that says, "Oh, we're totally fine," but there's this picture of just pizza after pizza catching on fire. And so it just became this thing where everybody jumped on, and brands and people, some celebrities, some people were just kind of jumping in on the trend of it, but some people were legitimately sharing deep pain that they were feeling.
Yeah.
And it just kept going and going and snowballing and snowballing. And then so after it kind of kept going for a little bit, Elmo tweeted again the next day, and he said, "Wow, Elmo was glad he asked. Elmo learned that it is important to ask a friend how they are doing. Elmo will check in again soon, friends. Elmo loves you. #emotional well-being."
Okay.
It kept going. And Big Bird and Cookie Monster and Oscar the Grouch, like all the Sesame Street characters, did kind of similar things where they kind of jumped on this moment and they're like, "Hey, we're here for you too. Let us know how we can help you." I think Cookie Monster said, "I'll be a good listener and I'll even bring a cookie." Something like that.
Because who doesn't want a cookie?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I just think that's interesting that it's still, the world's complicated, the economy is rough, all that kind of stuff. And I just think it's interesting that people are turning to Elmo.
Right.
An account, it's kind of funny, the Elmo account says that it's run by Elmo's mommy and daddy because Elmo's not even old enough to have a Twitter account.
He's like 3 years old, right? Or
yeah. So what when you hear that, what does that make you think of? Why are adults around the world commenting on a post from Elmo in 2024?
There's a lot going on there. So
Yes.
I think it was Colbert on his late night monologue. Mm-hmm. He talked about how this is kind of one of those episodes where you ask a friend how they're doing. You're really just asking them, just give me the quick and easy. But they kind of descend into like very personal things, and you're just in the middle of the copy room.
Right.
And people like walk in, walk out because of the depth of the conversation. There's tears being shed. It's kind of like out of place. I think he said it kind of compares to that where, this is a social media platform. Mm-hmm. And people are under their account name, either if it's like anonymous or if it's directly related to them, clearly them, that they're just kind of confessing what's going on. So, what a phenomenon!
Yeah,
you kind of wonder what's going on there. So, would these people say the same thing if a real person at a coffee shop asked them a similar question, or would they? Would they appeal for like the very surfacey thing? Mm-hmm. So what is it about a social media platform that kind of draws this out of people? Yeah. Is it to somehow gain attention? Will they just understand that people will reply to them? Mm-hmm. Hopefully they won't dunk on them. Hopefully they'll honestly check in on them. So why are people more honest in a platform for millions to view
Yeah.
but they may be surfacey in a relational conversation. Because how's that more uncomfortable than, putting it out there for millions to see, right? So there's a lot going on here. Obviously, this shines a light on this age-old endeavor of how to try to understand what's going on deep within us. I think it's a wonderful observation about life. Like, we want to plumb the farthest depths of space. We want to, look, investigate, observe the depths of the ocean, and we're still also trying to investigate the depths of who we are. And so here's just another episode of how technology is a mirror trying to reveal what's going on deep within us. So just off the cusp, I think that's probably the first thing I would say is this is just another episode of we're trying to figure out who we are. And sometimes we could be quite startled that we could be so transparent, even just after a tweet from a Muppet.
Yeah, right.
Named Elmo from Sesame Street. I mean, this is crazy.
It is crazy. We talked about this before, but one thing that I heard a podcast probably a couple years ago that kind of stuck with me when they talked about how for most of human history, humans were in groups of like 100 people. Right. Like for thousands of years, we kind of we had a little group, we moved around together, and that was our group. We didn't know what everyone else was doing, what everyone else was thinking, what everyone else was feeling, what wars were happening around the world. For thousands of years, we had this DNA that was like, okay, I know what's happening with this little group. And then gradually over time, we knew more about that person, and now we know what's going on in Europe. And our world just got bigger. In terms of history, it got very big very quickly. Yeah. And I wonder if there's part of that at play where we were never meant to know as much as we know. I'm pretty convinced of that. Like, we weren't designed to know what every human is thinking.
That's right.
It's just a weight that I don't think we can carry. Yeah. And so to me, it's interesting that, like you were saying, I think people are quicker to hop on a Twitter rant with Elmo than they are to have a real conversation with someone. Partially, I think our world's just changed so quickly that we don't know how to deal with as much information as we have, and so it feels easier to reach out to talk to a stranger we don't know than the risk of actually going somewhere deep and real with someone that we do know.
Yeah, and I do think that there is something within our human experience that wants to get something off our chest. We may not want to actually deal with it, but just get it out there. There's this neat, I think it was a This American Life episode that talked about this phone booth in the middle of nowhere, out of use. Like, it's not using phone call capabilities anymore. Yeah. But people go there and they kind of share what's on their heart and mind. It tended to be people who had passed on, like having that conversation that you wish you could have had with them, but they passed before you could. And people were just some of these heart-wrenching, conversations with somebody who's gone before them. I do think there is a mechanism, or there is a drive within us that needs a mechanism to get something off our chest. I do think at times we assume that people then want to deal with those things. I do think that there's something within the human experience that we need to vent. Now, whether we need to do something all the way constructive with that, it's yet to be determined. Yeah. But I do think that we at least need to get it out of our chest. Like, it's something like we feel like it's dangerous if it's bottled up inside of us. But if we just get it out, then we could either, we could see it out there, and then we could say, okay, maybe it's time to deal with this, or maybe I just need to get that off my chest. Yeah. This may be like where the Christian practice of confession may have been tending to some of this. Yeah. And you and I are Protestant, we're not Catholics, and we do have a lot of Catholic friends. And of course, that's one of the one of the fixtures of their religious experience. I do think that Protestants still confess sins. We tend to maybe do it more privately, just us and God. But there is something about having another human being, non-anxious person in front of us, where we can say, whether we're staring at the ceiling or at the floor, or have the courage to look them in the eyes and to say, I've had this pain about X, Y, and Z from my past. And although it's been years, it's still like I look over my shoulder, it's still there. And I just wonder if getting out in the open might be helpful in this moment. So are you willing to hang with me for 20 minutes and have me sort this out with you? Yeah. Now, it may need, we may need to go to therapy and talk about it further. Yeah. Someone who's absolutely trained, who have the Swiss Army knife of dealing with all that, right? Yeah. I think sometimes we just need to get it out there take a deep breath, maybe cry it out. And I don't say that trivially. I'm like, I think this that could be a very cathartic experience, and then begin to move on from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of counseling, this is a like Freudian thing I don't understand, but I saw an article that was talking about this Elmo phenomenon. You remember, I think we talked about it a couple years ago when Steve from Blue's Clues kind of came back, and he had this kind of viral moment where he said, "Hey, it's me, Steve, and you haven't heard from me for a while, and I'm doing great. You're doing great. Like I just want you to know I'm proud of you." It was like this viral moment of Steve from Blue's Clues coming back and talking to people our age, letting us know that this fictional character was proud of us, right? And it blew up, kind of similar to this story. So there's something about this figure from our childhood coming to us in adulthood. It's kind of a strangely safe figure to talk about. Again, like that's above my psychological understanding, but I think there's something interesting there. Why are we appealed to Steve and Elmo as adults? Like why are these things having these kind of cultural moments? So my question for you is, we're not Steve or Elmo, but like, can we be the kind of people that people are comfortable with?
Yes.
And how that should be something that I would hope that Christians and faith leaders should be those kind of people, right? So how can what about this can we learn so we can be good friends to people around us?
What a great question. So I think this attachment theory has been a very, positive asset for us in dealing with relationships and have people dealing with their trauma, hurts, and pains.
Yeah.
And to oversimplify, this is a disclaimer, I think all of us crave, no matter at what age, I think it's probably more needed early on, obviously, when we're quite vulnerable. But I think continuing to relate to even the elderly, these three things of being seen, soothed, and safe, the three S's of attachment. Yeah, I think those things are ever present in life. They may be experienced in various forms, but I think if we went into relationships saying, I'm going to help this person be seen, no matter what scary things they're going to reveal or painful things from their past. I'm not going to run away. I'm going to contain my anxiety inside and be non-anxious in front of them. Right? Soothed. People have had deep, profound pain, and oftentimes what they don't need is they don't need a dissertation explaining why they're going through hard stuff. They don't even need for you and I to relate to them and to say, well, my second removed aunt who lives in Alaska 30 years ago had a similar thing, I think. I think what they need to see here is, hey, man, you're loved. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And what you're going through is very hard. And I want to stick with you and help you the best I can. They don't need, I think that might be the fullness of what they need, right? And then safe. Can they share something that's deeply personal and know that it's not going to be used against them, penned on them like a scarlet letter for the rest of their life? I think if we could grow in skills to have people have that experience with us, I think that we could be used in a very productive way for people all around us. Just like the millions of people who, for whatever reason,
hopped onto Elmo,
found that in Elmo, earlier this week. So, I'm
gonna be really careful here because I don't want to draw a parallel that I'm not trying to draw. But I do wonder if we had a staff meeting earlier this week where we talked about most young people in Wichita, most people around our zip code, probably like they know who Jesus is. They maybe went to church as a kid, or they have family members who are devoted Christians, or maybe they used to be a devoted Christian and they're not anymore. Most people around us know the Christian story, at least the very, very basics of it. I wonder can Jesus be a similar character? Like, can he be someone who people around us know the basics about who he is? He's a comforting person.
Right.
Can we somehow capture this feeling that a lot of people seem to be having of, I need someone to talk to. I need someone to understand my pain. Again, I don't want to elevate, Elmo and Steve to Jesus, but like, I wonder if that same need might actually be helpful. Do you know what I mean? Can we? How can we do that?
And I think that we could probably anecdotally we could confirm that. I mean, there's just millions and millions of people, billions of people who they're not in the Christian religion simply because that's what my family does. I think there's probably some there that are like that. I think more likely than not, people have had a vivid experience through their life in the church, through its teaching, through sacrament, through service, devotion, prayer, all those things. They've had a connection with Jesus, the real person of Jesus, this real presence of God. And we do get this neat quotation from Jesus which says, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden. You'll find rest for your soul." So even in the teaching of Jesus, Christian teaching is not just apologetic, trying to make an appeal to people, a rationale why they should believe. And it's not just deepening their devotion and commitment. I mean, Jesus does those things too. Take up your cross daily and follow me. But there is a therapeutic plane to the diadem of the teaching of Jesus that does, I think, appeal to the brokenness of our souls. And he is calling to all people, if you're weary, come find rest within me. And what's been so neat is that Jesus's message has resonated with people way outside of even his socioeconomic experience. The epicenter of Christianity continues to bounce around the globe. It hasn't stayed in Palestine. It didn't stay in Europe like it did for several centuries. Now it's in the global south and east. So people of all different walks of life, rich, poor, educated, uneducated, they continue to hear the call of Jesus. And they do sense a very personal connection with him. And so I do think that there is a high potential for anyone, any walk of life, even those who grew up in the church. When they came of age, they decided they were going to walk away. And as they continue to sift through their life and trying to put the pieces together, they could give Jesus a second chance. And I think that they would find a vivid, therapeutic experience with him. And it's not, and when I say therapeutic, some people are just like rolling their eyes. They're nauseated by that because that's not their personality. But as like this, tweet from Elmo and its replies would show, and the countless other ways people are trying to put the pieces together, like the person next to us is in a deep need to try to put it all together and to have some sort of a healing in the ache of their soul. And I think Jesus is the best answer for that. And that's not just because I'm a pastor, because I've truly experienced it myself too. That's been my confession.
I think we all have those burdens, and we don't know what to do with them. And so I think Jesus is the right answer, right? Elmo and Steve can maybe help you a little bit, but ultimately, faith in Jesus can really heal some of those burdens. So.
Right, because there's many sides to this. It's not just not someone to hear my story and to not run away. But Jesus he will meet us there for sure. And then we're repaired, right? And not just repaired so we feel better tomorrow, but we're repaired because we have to have a higher relational quotient to deal with people, so that our brokenness doesn't break other people, hurting people, right? There's also a bigger project going on, the project of mending the whole universe. So as he's mending us, he's also mending everything around us, and he would love for us to join him in that working out of all those things. And so that's worth considering. If we're going to give Jesus a chance, it's not just meeting me in this moment of lowliness, but he is going to make me something different. And he's going to make me something different because he also wants to allow me to be launched into this wider world, to experience the thrill of seeing the whole world put back together, not just my personal issues. So there's a bigger project going on there too.
That's good. Well, I think it's great what Elmo's doing. Way to go, Elmo.
That's right, man.
Friend of the show, Elmo. I'm sure he's watching with his mom and dad.
Way to take a risk, or as Pastor Brent says, run with scissors.
Yes. Careful with scissors, Elmo.
By asking people how they're doing, right?
Yes. But it's been a cool story. I think it's a cool example that we can keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, we'd love to have you join us at Ridgepoint.
Yes.
We got a new sermon series starting off this week through Ezra and Haggai. But we're going to talk about God's faithfulness. That's become one of the big themes of those books. So right on what we're talking about. So love to have you on Sunday, whether you come in person or online, and we'll be back next week.
See you next time.
Okay, see ya.